What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. I'm going to show you quickly how to prepare a spaghetti squash. I actually get a lot of messages about this. There's actually several different ways you can prepare a spaghetti squash. One of the ways being the oven, which is what I'm going to show you today. You could also do it in your crock pot, and you can also do it in the microwave in just about 10 minutes. Okay, so the oven takes about 40 minutes, but of course it depends on the size of your spaghetti squash. This is a good size if you're using the spaghetti squash as kind of a side dish and not your main entree. Now, if you've never had spaghetti squash, I'm not going to sit here and say that this is like the fix-all problem for craving carbs and that you'll never want real spaghetti again, because it's not going to do that for you, but it is a nice alternative when you want to eat a little lighter. So what I'm doing with this today, and I'm going to show you the rest of the recipe later, is we're going to prepare the spaghetti squash and we're going to toss it with some pesto. I have a giant basil plant in my backyard. So right now I have the basil leaves soaking in some cold ice water, and then we're going to make a pesto. But we're going to prepare this ahead of time. For working moms, or even if you're home during the summer, nobody has time to sit in here and kind of watch the spaghetti squash roast for 40 minutes and then toss it with pesto and roasted tomatoes and all of that. So I like to do some of the prep work in the morning, so when my kids are hungry later, this part is already done. So I'm going to show you what to do. Okay, so obviously this is a squash, and to make it easier so it's not rolling around, we're going to cut off the top and the bottom. This is a very tough skin to get through. If it's too tough, you could try a serrated knife. If that still doesn't work, you could poke a couple holes, put it in the microwave for about 4 minutes, and it'll soften the skin just a little bit that you'll be able to get through it. But let's see how we do. Okay? So basically, you're going to, you can see how tough that is, right? Start with the end. And sometimes I like to make little cuts. Just turn it. Be very careful because, like I said, it's slippery. The skin's very tough. It's obviously circular in shape, so it can roll, and I don't want any of you guys to get cut. So see, I'm kind of going around and just making little slices. It helps if you kind of insert that tip in your knife. Okay, and you turn again. Going here, then we turn again. See, now we're getting a little deeper. And of course, ladies, if you have a strong hubby at home, this is a perfect job for him to help with. Then he feels like he contributed to dinner, right? My hubby is at the gym, so we're gonna do it ourselves. So there's the top, okay? Just gotta be patient. Now we're gonna spin, do the back side. Go. All right. Now you have a flat surface to stand your spaghetti squash up onto. This is going to help you cut it lengthwise, okay? Makes it a little easier than trying to balance on this thing, right? All right, so same thing. Be patient. Watch those fingers. Kind of both sides, work it through. Okay, if you need to, pull the knife out, rotate it. Try to stay as centered as you can. I like to kind of cut through one side, spin, finish the other side. This is a great way to take out your frustrations. Grab a spaghetti squash. Now this is what the inside looks like. What does it remind you of? A pumpkin, right? You can actually save these seeds and cook them the same way you would pumpkin seeds. But what we're going to do is scrape out the center and discard all of this. Let me grab a spoon. All right, so the same way you would a pumpkin, okay? We're going to clean out the insides here. And this takes just a minute. But you do want to make sure you get it fairly clean. Clean up a little bit here. So you're going to scrape a little more than you think you would need to. Sometimes I like to rest it on a paper towel and kind of just clean everything. Can you guys see that? No, you can't. Here you go. Just kind of push it all out. Okay, and if you have to, use your fingers. Okay. You could see that the pulp is a different color than the rest of the squash. So you'll know when you've got it pretty good and cleaned out. Okay. It's not going to be smooth. You don't want to take away too much because now you're getting into the squash part. You just got to get that, you know, kind of like mustard yellow pulp out. All right, so this one's done. Move on. Start from the top, scrape the sides. Obviously a spoon is the best tool for this. So we're gonna roast this spaghetti squash at 400 degrees, like I said, for about 40 minutes. You obviously need to check it for doneness because it might be tender before 40 minutes, like I said, depending on the size. So I would start at around 30 minutes checking it. If it's larger, it could take up to an hour. You want to cook it at a high heat. Spaghetti squash, if cooked too low, it could be a little watery, and you don't want that, okay? Because then what's going to happen is it's going to water down whatever sauce you're adding to it, whether it's a red sauce or pesto like we're doing. All right, come on here. Almost done. Okay, and spaghetti squash is like all the rage these days, right? Everybody's trying to eat low carb. It's got a lot of nice vitamins in there. Okay. Let me wipe my hands. And we'll move back over to the squash. So once you have it to this point here, okay, what you're going to do, you can leave that sticker on, it doesn't matter, okay, so we're going to season it. Olive oil, salt and pepper, okay. I have a foil-lined baking sheet here. You could do this in a Pyrex dish. Okay, nice little sprinkling there. Got our pepper. Okay, and we're gonna roast this cut side down, okay? Flip it over. There's no need to poke holes, okay? Some people will rub a little olive oil on the top also. It's totally up to you. Okay, but you don't need to season the outside of the squash. Okay, so that's it. So now we're gonna pop this in a 400-degree oven, like I said, for 40 minutes. When it's cooled, you're gonna scrape out the inside, just like we did with the spoon, but you're gonna use a fork this time. If you're using this to replace spaghetti noodles, scrape long ways so you get the longest strand that would resemble, you know, spaghetti. If it's a side dish, you can scrape any which ways, but your strand of squash is going to be a little bit shorter, which is fine. You do not need to add water to this pan, okay? If you are doing it in the microwave, you will add a little bit of water to the bottom of your Pyrex dish, and that will just kind of help, you know, steam it to get it nice and soft. Obviously